Hello everyone, Manthrow here, and welcome back to another Suggestion Saturday video. Now this video, I don't know if I had precursor to anything in the last one, but there's a couple ideas I was actually thinking about. I'm sure others probably thought of it too, but it'll be for RuneScape, and there's two ideas I want to actually get out there. It's some are both actually are branched off of other ideas that already exist in the game. And what they are is first one I'll discuss is the Tele-Grab pet slash familiar. Um, Now it wouldn't work exactly like a regular Tele-Grab, but what it would be is it'd be either a new type of pet or a new type of familiar. And these pets should not be required to be purchased through the Solomon General Store, as it really wouldn't be fair. Uh, I do think it's time, to try to move away from it. It's great. It wouldn't completely replace the legendary pets, but it would help people who, let's say, they can't afford to do that, or they don't have the time to really earn all those rune coins by watching a bunch of ads or whatever. Um, Not to mention some of them don't pay out. But what the Tele-Grab-ish kind of pet would do would be, you can set your left click option. And you could select it to be either, that ability. And what you would do is you would have it, let's say you're fighting, it's just sitting there normally. And you would have it where you could use its ability to telegraph something. And you don't there should be no limit on it. It'd just be like the scavenge ability for the legendary pets, but you, instead of doing that, instead of actually having to weave through all the paths, it would just automatically cast Telegrab for you. This way you don't have to be interrupted, and it would grab you the whatever item it would be. And so basically, it would be grabbing the items for you as you see fit. Now, here's where I think it should actually have somewhat of a drawback. Not so much of a limit on how often, but essentially it kind of would be giving you the thing of how often, because it can only use that ability so many times. And how you would charge it up is by offering it law runes. Now, why do I say this? Because this would actually give rune crafters better reason to collect their law runes and make them. It would give law runes another use. It would make them no longer a wasted rune. People would use this in the long term. I mean, if it's just a regular Slayer assignment, people would use it. So, you would that would be the route for the pet, and then the pet would not be bought. It would have to be something that would be a very unique drop, a very rare drop from something. From what, I don't exactly know. Maybe a boss, maybe not. Maybe it's something you kind of find like the skilling pets. Eventually you get it after a certain ratio. I don't know exactly how it should be gotten, but I think it should be able to be got without the terms of buying it. Now, the other way is to have a new familiar and a new familiar category. And instead of, doing it that way, maybe this one, it would take a charm. I would say probably green or crimson. And you would have to use law runes to make it. And the higher the level, of course, the better the one it is. And once you have it made, you would have to have the scroll, and then the scroll itself would be you would have to use it every single time you'd use the ability. So there would be a small cooldown because, of course, you couldn't be telegrabbing everything because summons do have bars, special bars. So that is another way. Me personally, I like the pet way better, but I can understand if it would be more reasonable to just have it as a summons. Now, I know some people will say, oh, well, that's not useful, I'd rather use my yak. But see, the thing of it is, with all the stuff you can bring with you nowadays, like all the out types, all the teleport types, like with the sign of the porters, yes, it wouldn't be too great at boss fights, but if you're using this pet for bossing, you're not going to be there very long as is. Unless you're doing something like, God Wars Dungeon. But even then, you don't really need a familiar out to really do damage anyway. If you're in the God Wars Dungeon 1. I mean, if that's your main motivation there, that's not a very good one. So that is the idea for the Tele-Grab pet / and or familiar. The other one is actually for hiring workers. Now, by hiring workers, I mean it's kind of like a revamp of the Throne of Miscellanea. You don't... No longer would you just have them do whatever. You would actually be able... This should probably actually come with another part of a quest. And what you would have essentially be doing is, instead of having them just go free willy-nilly, well, you could probably do that, but there could be like another component to it. And you can hire them to do set individual tasks. And these tasks could include a lot of different things. Like, let's say you have a task where one of them just spins flax into bowstrings. So I don't know if it'd be through the Throne of Miscellanea or something else, but these workers, actually, yeah, no, it wouldn't be through the Throne of Miscellanea. You can find these workers at different areas, and all you would have to do is bring them your items. So, or gold in some cases. Let's say you want a bunch of coal, or maybe a bunch of iron. You'd have to go and actually pay these workers then, if it's for let's say mithril, or you'd actually have to pay them, and what they would do is they would go and they would mine it for you, and however much you pay them is however much ore you get by a certain ratio. Whatever the ratio would be, I don't know exactly, but you get the point. It wouldn't be just, oh hey, I'm getting a ton of it. Better workers would get better turnouts, etc. Heck, this could even be a whole new minigame, like player-owned ports for all I know. Or distraction diversion, whatever it would be technically considered. Oh, that's right, you gotta mix it with that. And then mix that all together. Oh, you just take a chocolate bar. Bah. Well, I'll need that chocolate milk eventually anyway, so we'll just put that in there. Okay, so... So yeah, what you would be doing is you'd be going around getting these other workers. There'd be different ones for flax into bowstrings. There'd be different ones where you could hire ones to maybe do smithing for you. Let's say you have a ton of steel bars, and there'd be different payment options for them. Let's say the one option is they keep so much of the product, and then you get the rest, and you also pay them some gold. Or you could just completely pay them, and they would keep none of the cannonballs that are produced. So there is different methods you could go about doing this. Now, I know this is kind of a way where some people would be like, well, you're cheating out on skillers not having to do, well, people not having to do skills, which is kind of true, but at the same time, not true. The reason why I say that is because it's essentially the same thing as if you were to say people who don't do combat can't go ahead and buy, I don't know, a Bandos chest plate, you know. Because then you're saying, like, well, they would have to do it themselves. It's just like, no. If they can buy it, why can't, skillers buy, well, non-skillers buy their way? And this would be more for the final product of something. So basically, people would be missing out on the XP at the cost and gold to get this accomplished. So there's actually a lot more cons to it, but it would be a way for people to skip menial labor type activities, but still get the items they need. That's the main target of it. Now, if it needs some more refinement, yes, of course, that, God willing, let people figure out a way to make it more refined. I have no issues with that. Okay, so if it's doing that, it has the capability of doing a lot for people. Now, how I really even thought of this was because of invention a while ago was going to be possibly having production machinery. And, well, there is no more of that. So it was kind of like, well, what the heck do you do then? Well, that's why I'm going for this route. Because he said there wasn't no longer going to be a batch 2. There's just going to be stuff here and there throughout time. So the factory machines, I don't know if they'll actually ever be a thing. So why not do something more influential that people can actually we'll go with that one. Oh. Right, now I just need to cook a lobster. So yeah. it would be, it could even be like a hub city kind of type thing. Like how player-owned ports is, you go to this area and you meet all these like things. Or they can just be spread throughout the lands and, you just talk to different ones. But I think it'd be very beneficial in the long run. I know I have one lobster, but that's for... But, yeah, it'd be very beneficial in the long run because people could then just hire these things and they would be losing out on not only money, but they'd be losing out on XP, but in the end result, getting items that they want. And these items would still be made while you are offline. So it's not like if you're online only. No, it'd work a lot like the sense of the Third and Miscellanea area, where you would still get the stuff going even if you're not on. So let me know what you guys think of these ideas, if it came across as clear, especially for the last one, because I don't know why, but my mind just went everywhere. But the last one, all it is you would go to the different ones. There's higher caliber ones that'll get things done faster or more accurately in case of like cooking. And not all skills would be able to have this done. Not all things would be able to have this done. But I think stuff like molten glass would be one. Different type of glass items would be another one. Making, like, let's say vials or filling vials. There's a lot of possibilities. But I would have to say cannonballs would be definitely a big one. Flax would be a big one. A lot of the menial labor type tasks. Making molten glass, like I said. that kind of stuff. And again, you would get no XP for it. You would have to pay your gold for it, and it would be you using your own items with these people. So it's not like you'd be getting free items. You'd have to pay your way through it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.